And welcome back to Kaldheim spoilers. And we got a lot. Like, you think I've gone over all these so far, so you think it's only this. No, there's a full other page. I forgot there would be spoilers over the weekend, and I thought, well, I've already missed it this day, but I'd have to catch up. Why don't I just catch up on Monday? So we got a lot to talk about. Let's just get into it right from the get. Tormentor's Helm is 1 red for an artifact. Common. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player, and you equip it for 1. Yeah, I would see you equipping this to something a lot stronger than, say, like a 1/1 or a 2/2 or a 3/3 for the buff. Something, for instance, like Chroma Cosmo Serpent, that would be a huge thing you can make indestructible and keep swinging into with, that they're going to have to block. So, and therefore you get the advantage from that. If it said when it becomes blocked or when it blocks, then I think it would be a bit more of a useful equipment. Might even be an uncommon at that point, but as it stands, I like it. It's fine. These ones, unfortunately, they don't show you the other side of it as a separate card. I always got to do this. We have our rare black god now. That would be Tergrid, God of Fright, basically a god of fear. 2 black, 3 of any color for a 4/5 god rare menace. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Its modular effect is, or its modular card is actually their lantern. Tergrid's Lantern is 1 black, 3 of any color for a legendary artifact, rare. Tap it. Target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. You may pay 3 and 1 black to untap this card. This is a really good card. Like, this is actually, like, on its own, it's a 4/5 with menace with no downside, and then an ability that you can work with. Like, even with limited sealed, you can work with this ability. So right off the bat, those are good stats. Menace is a relevant ability for like combat, so that's good. But then you get its lantern, which I really like the lantern. Yes, it's 4 mana, a bit much, sure, but because it's an artifact, it does not have summoning sickness, so you can just immediately tap it the turn it comes out. And then you suddenly are now either hitting them for lightning. You're either lightning bolting them, which is no small, like 3 life per turn is no small feat. And add on to the fact that you can tap, if you got nothing else to pay, free mana that up, untap it, and tap it again. I think you're going to quickly start to outpace them. And like with any of the modular cards, you can have these really encourage you to play multiple copies of the gods and the lanterns, because you can have both these out in the field. Obviously, I think it's a woman. This woman's lantern triggers her ability. So not only do they either have to then take 3 life, or they have to sacrifice something, discard something, and you immediately get it. I have a discard deck. This will be going into said discard deck. This thing may be the headliner of said discard deck. So I really like that card. That's a really good card. Black's my least favorite color. I've been on record saying that. But I really like that card. I don't know why I decided to bring this one up the way I did here. I mean, yeah. By the way, got the alternate art now for a lot of these. Got the Corvo and Isca's alternate art, which is pretty good. Obviously, Tyval Kel's standard pack art, which quite frankly I think is better than its expanded artwork. But either way, I'll have to show off the Cosmo Serpent one. The Cosmo Serpent one is fantastic. But Waking the Trolls, 1 green, 1 red, 4 of any color, for a Saga enchantment. Comes out, you first destroy a land. For 6 mana, okay, I mean, you're destroying a land. Land destruction is whatever. I have a land destruction deck. This will probably go in said deck. But mine's a casual, so I'm using Stone Rain and a lot cheaper, better land destruction than this. But then the second one comes, you put target land card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Okay, you get some landfall going. You can pair it off with landfall. You can use multiple copies of this too. I mean, 6 mana is a lot, but still. And then, third one, choose target opponent. If they control fewer lands than you do, create a number of 4/4 green troll warrior creature tokens with trample equal to the difference. Leshrac would like to have a conversation. Yeah, like, I might actually have to redo my land destruction deck and put my not Leshrac. I got it right here. Hold on. One second. What was the name of that one? Where is my big furry purple land stealing avatar? There it is. Herald of Leshrac. That's what it is. Herald of Leshrac, where it's cumulative upkeep as you gain control of a land you don't control. It gets +1 for each land. And then when it dies, lands you don't control or that aren't yours go back to the owners. But in essence, you combine that with this, you can wind up with quite a bit. So it's got potential. It certainly has potential. Is it amazing? I don't know if I got that far. It's certainly not amazing, but it's got potential. Doomscar Oracle is 1 white, 2 of any color, for a creature with 1 white foretell, or foretell for 1 white. It's a 3/2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you gain 2 life. I'm guessing the whole second spell thing is dealing with the foretell mechanic, because the foretell mechanic allows you to cast something for cheaper than its actual mana cost. By the way, if you notice, my glasses are broken at the moment, so in case that you're wondering what the hell's wrong with my glasses, they're broken. I'm getting an appointment to take care of on Thursday. But, yeah, I mean, it's a common one. You can play it for pretty cheap, quite frankly. But that being said, the truth is, you'd probably just play it on turn 3 than play it for its foretell cost, I'd imagine. Assuming you don't have a 2-drop, I guess you could play it for the foretell cost on turn 3, and if you pull a 2-drop or something like that, work it in conjunction with that, I suppose? I don't know. I mean, there's some possibility. It's not amazing, but it's a common, and it's not supposed to be. So, yeah. Saw it coming. It's canceled. It's canceled, but at 2 converted mana cost because of the foretell. And honestly, this is a card you are going to want to play for the foretell. This is one you're just going to... The minute you get this in your hand, no. You should just foretell it and let it sit and let it fester. Because... it's just cancel. Cancel is usable in its own right, but cancel is still a pretty expensive spell at 2 mana, at 2 blue and 1 of any color. You make that basically monolith cost with no other. He's like, unless they pay 4 or something like that. You just make it like, no, pay 2, counter. That's it. Yeah, I think there's a reason this is uncommon. I'm actually surprised that it wouldn't be a rare. I'm actually surprised by that. Either way, Rally there, it's still a really good card, like fantastic card, quite frankly, in my opinion. Rally the Ranks is 1 white, 1 of any color for an enchantment, rare. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1. It is literally just a glorious anthem for a certain type, not a certain color. If you were in a certain type, slivers, I'll slide this into multiple, like cat deck, slivers, hell, I got a white-black demon deck I could slide this into. This will be fine as long as you're in your tribe, and I mean, the changelings make that happen, so there you go. Humans, soldiers, you name it, you can do it. So, good card. It's an anthem. Anthems are not bad by any stretch of the means. Reckless Crew is 1 red, 3 of any color for a rare sorcery. Create X 2/1 red dwarf berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of vehicles you control plus the number of equipment you control. For each of those tokens, you may attach an equipment you control to it. Good, but only in the right circumstances. And I mean, you're gonna be in one form of deck building or the other. You're not going to be going both equipment and vehicles. You're probably going to be more one or the other. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's assuming you make an equipment deck or you make a vehicle deck. Vehicles aren't necessarily designed to be a deck in and of themselves. I have a vehicle deck, but that's just because I get bored and make decks. Like when I get this set, I will make probably a second snow deck. I will make, if I can, I will try to make a god deck. I will make possibly a berserker deck. I will continue to build upon my sliver deck. So I will be making a bunch of decks when I get all the stuff from this set. Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. Anyway. Reckless, but yeah, I mean, this is good. For 4 mana, you're realistically getting at least 2 or 3 dwarves, which is fine. I mean, they're designed for vehicles to crew them, so there you go. It's fine. Not anything amazing. Not like my real favorite rare here. Search for Glory is 1 white, 2 of any color for a rare snow sorcery. Search your library for a snow permanent card, a legendary card, or a saga card. Reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. You may gain 1 life for each snow mana spent to cast this spell. So, I mean, for me, it would be, I'd be gaining 3 life and getting a card from my snow deck. That would be it. If you're in a snow deck, absolutely. If you're in, say, a god deck, there you go. If you're in a deck with sagas in there you go. For me, I'd probably slide this into the snow deck to get the full value out of it. But still, it's good. Can't argue against it. Spectral Steel. 1 white, 1 of any color for an aura enchantment. Uncommon. Enchant creature gets +2/+2. You can pay 1 of any color, 1 white, to exile this card from your graveyard. Return another target or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. It's interesting. You're getting +2. You're getting a +2/+2 for 2. Perfectly reasonable rate. And then if this thing's in the graveyard, you can get something else back that's in the graveyard, but only if it's in the graveyard. That's the thing. If you have nothing else in the graveyard, this thing's just going to sit there. But if you're able to, get its ability off and get something back, great. Nothing I can really say against it. It's a good card. Not amazing, but good. Grim Draugr. 1 black, 2 of any color for a snow creature, zombie berserker. You can pay 1 snow, 1 of any color. You give this creature +1/+0 and gains menace until the end of turn. Seeing as it's already a 3/2 for 3, if you put it in a snow deck, that means you can easily get this thing up to a 4/2 for 3, with no problem. I mean, it's for 2, obviously. And then you can stack that ability, making it bigger with menace still. I mean, the menace doesn't stack, but it gets bigger. And then, I mean, if you got the right combination of cards to make a bigger equipment, hell, put the Spectral Steel on it. That may make a 5/4. You can turn a 6 or a 6/4 with menace. It's not amazing, but there's a reason it's a common. It's not supposed to be, like I said with the last one. So it's fine for a common snow permanent, absolutely. God's Hall Guardian. I like it. It's just a big kitty sitting on your rafters. 1 white, 5 of any color for a 3/6 cat creature with vigilance and foretell for 4 instead. 1 white, 3 of any color. Even at 4, 3/6 isn't that great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the art. The art's great, but not really. I couldn't say I love it. In fact, I will 100% say I don't love it. Not bad, mind you, but yeah, there's better cards out there. Isca, again, if you're like, say, a limited or a pre-release or something like that, that'll be like a solid big pick you'll have. Isca's Chariot is 1 green, 3 red color for a 4/4 legendary artifact vehicle, which is being pulled by 2 kitty cats. Rare. Enters the battlefield, you get 2 cat creature tokens. And whenever this card attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. There's some dangerous things you can be doing with that. I already got cats, a cat deck. I already got token decks. This thing can slide in there no problem. It doesn't. The one downside is this doesn't have an actual ability like, say, menace or trample or first strike, nothing like that. So if your opponent has something bigger, there's no point in really swinging with this. But if your opponent doesn't have anything bigger, or if you're able to do something to pump it up in some way, then I can see some shenanigans happening. Nothing amazing, but shenanigans. I'm wondering, do they have the alternate art of this card up yet? No, they do not. Okay. Vega the Watcher. It's a legendary bird spirit. 1 white, 1 blue, 1 of any color for a 2/2 legendary bird spirit. Uncommon. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you draw a card. Now, obviously, this is supposed to be for the Foretell deck. And as such, if you were making a Foretell deck, which is another deck I might make, then this card is up your alley. You're going to want to play this card. It's going to give you an extra card, extra advantage. You can't have multiple on the field, but doesn't mean you can't have multiple in your deck. You probably don't want to run full 4 of them, but 2, maybe 3, definitely, because that thing won't live very long, all things considered. Not because it's going to be a target, but more in the sense that it's going to, it's just, you're going to probably block with it more, or swing with it, and it'll probably die eventually. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're playing the deck right, and people are seeing it's giving you that big of an advantage, yeah, at that point, then it becomes a target. But anything becomes a target at that point. Quake Bringer is our red foretell card. We got a lot of red cards, by the way, now. A lot of mythics, by the way, now. We got more, I think, than the average in this set. 2 red, 3 of any color for a 5/4 Giant Berserker Mythic. Your opponent can't gain life. Foretell it for 4, so it's got a foretell cost of 1 less. At the beginning of your upkeep, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability only triggers if Quake Bringer is on the battlefield, or if Quake Bringer is in your graveyard and you control a giant. Well, you will be going in my giant deck. You will be going in my giant deck, and you will be wrecking shop. Like, that's a good card. Like, even on its own, that is a really good card. I don't think anyone would really argue that point. It doesn't have any ability. Like, it doesn't have trample, it doesn't have first strike, it doesn't have anything, but it's a 5/4 for 5 with that ability. That alone is pretty solid. It can die, sure, but most things can die. But the fact is, you can cast it for cheaper if you get it out early, or if you get it in your hand early. And then it's just constantly, you don't even have to swing with it. It can block, and you're still getting the effect of the 2 damage each turn. Pair this, say, with the Black God of Fear, where it's Vile, where it's like 3 damage, or discard or sacrifice, and you got a really nice little combo strategy there. Undersea Invader is 2 blue, 4 of any color for a giant rogue, 5/6, and enters the battlefield tapped. Flash. Honestly, I don't know what the point of the flash is when it enters the battlefield tapped. Yeah, it's just your standard common. I'm not big on this one. I actually don't really think it's that good, quite frankly. Broken Wing is just a different version of Plummet, I can't remember it, but Snared by Vines, something like that, where you destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Standard bread and butter card like that. Replicant Ring, 3 of any color for a snow artifact, uncommon. Tap and add 1 mana of any color. Or at the beginning of your upkeep, put a night counter on Replicant Ring. If this card has 8 or more night counters on them, remove all of them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicant's Ring that tap and add 1 mana of any color. So it's a mana stone. I've heard some people say it's just a mana stone. It's not that great, but add Proliferate to the mix, which I have plenty of decks that use it. And you will be, you might actually have a contender on your hand for, this will be a Commander All-Star, 100%. Because they got to answer that quick. Otherwise, they're going to have so much mana, it's not even going to be funny. And you want another reason, way to get to that God tree or that World tree, double color, Progenitus, Door to Nothing, activated ability. There you go. Spirit of Elderguard is 1 green, 3 of any color for Bear Spirit. Uncommon. 0/4. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a snowland, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. This card gets +1/+0 for each other snow permanent you control. Again, in a snow deck, I would imagine most, if not all, of your snow land are snow permanents. So let's say at minimum you get this out in turn 4. It's already a turn it's already a 4/4. More land that come out, the bigger this thing's just going to get. So I like this card a lot. It's got potential to be a big monster. Snakeskin Veil is 1 of any color for an instant, common. Put a +1 counter on target creature you control and it gains hexproof till the end of the turn. Bread and butter kind of ability, but good. Eradicator Valkyrie is 2 black, 2 of any color for a 4/3 Angel Berserker Mythic Rare, Flying Lifelink, and hexproof for Planeswalkers. That's not a slight ability, all things considered. But then again, how often are you going to see people play Planeswalkers? Boast. You can pay 1 black, 1 of any color, sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or Planeswalker. This is a really good... Look, even if you never get the Boast effect off, it's a 4/3 lifelink with hexproof from Planeswalkers for 4. It is 100% usable just on that rate alone. The fact that it's got the Boast and you can maybe have some tokens out there to sacrifice just kind of is a little bit of icing on the cake. Skimfar Shadow Sage. 1 black, 3 of any color for a 2/5 uncommon elf cleric. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have a creature type in common. Or gain X life for the exact same thing. Changelings, elf decks, that's where this is going to really play out. Otherwise, you'll be lucky to get maybe 2 or 3 life out of it at most. But then again, if you use something like, say, Maskwood Nexus, for example, which turns everything into a changeling, 4 of any color, artifact, rare, creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creatures, spells you control, and creature spells you own that aren't on the battlefield. So your deck, your hand, your grave are all creatures of all types. You can also pay 3 and create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. So you add that with that as Skimfar Shadow Sage, and now you got something going on now. Like, I mean, okay. Again, World Tree for a second. You can bring out every creature in your freaking deck. Oh my god, the combo off of World Tree is kind of nuts. World Tree, the Ring, this is like game over. Like, game over. The amount of finishers I'm seeing in the set so far are kind of nuts. Faceless Haven is Snowland rare, add a colorless mana, or you can pay 3 snow and turn this into a 4/3 creature with vigilance in all types until the end of turn. It's still a land. Yeah, I don't like these. I don't like land creatures very much. Not my style. Yeah, I don't really see much of the benefit with it, if I'm going to be honest, because you got to pay you're wasting 3 mana to get a 4/3. The only way you're going to do that is if you're behind. Now, granted, it does have vigilance, but it's also got less toughness than its power, so that it may very well die. And in that case, then what's the point? Because then you're down a land. I don't know. At least not among the land creatures I've seen. Hagimob. 1 red, 4 of any color for a 5/4 Troll Berserker. Common. Boast when it deals 1 damage to any target. If you can get some attacks in with this, great. It's a common. It's not amazing, but not great. Terrible. Kaia's Onslaught is 1 white, 2 of any color for a target creature +1. For instant, uncommon. Target creature gets +1/+1 and double strike till the end of turn. You can foretell it for just 1 white mana. Again, great combat trick. It's a story spotlight. I don't know, because we saw the story last week, the beginning of it. I don't know if this is Kaia's first encounter with Vorselix, or if this is the final encounter. I'm getting the implication this might be the final encounter, and possibly she kills him. I'll be honest, I don't see Kaia as someone who could kill an Phyrexian Praetor, let alone Vorselix, who is like the strongest physically of them. But I don't know, maybe. Draugr Necromancer, 1 black, 3 of any color for a snow creature, zombie cleric, 4/4 rare. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it. You may cast spells from among cards in your and exile your opponent's own with ice counters on them. And you may spend mana as though they have any. So basically, they get a counter, you can cast those and spend mana as though they were any color. 4/4 with that ability, if you can get a couple kills off, you'll be golden. The beauty of this one, too, is this isn't like a snow-specific creature. This doesn't require to be in a snow-based deck. It can be just thrown into any deck. But yeah, that's still pretty good. Annul gets a reprint. Good art on it, too. Annul's pretty useful. It's always a useful card. Bloodline Pretender. 3 of any color for an artifact creature shapeshifter. Uncommon, changeling. Choose a creature type. Whenever another creature of the chosen type comes out, put a +1 counter on Bloodline Pretender. Again, using something like, say, the Nexus, or just being in a certain deck, it's good. I can't really speak much more to it, because, I mean, it's still a 2/2 for 3, which is fine. And then it'll just keep getting bigger depending on what you play. So, yeah, it's fine. It's good. Yeah, and then you get Lichijara Kin Seeker. 1 blue, 3 of any color for a 2/4 shapeshifter and changeling. Enters the battlefield. If you control 3 or more creatures that share a type, this card gets a +1 counter on it and scry 1, which means you'd be paying for a 3/5 for 4 with scry 1. Not common. I can think of worse things to cast. Guardian Glade Walker is 1 of any color and 1 green, 1/1 changeling. Enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter on target creature. We've seen cards like this before multiple times. It's decent little 2-drop. Blood Sky Berserker. When you cast your second spell each turn, put 2 +1 counters on it. It gains menace until the end of turn. Yeah, I mean, if you got the foretell going off, or you're just being able to play multiple spells, sure. Nothing is against that. Death Knell Berserker. Unfortunately, this one actually doesn't have a translation, so I can't speak on it. I assume it's got something good to it. Morty of the Frost. I believe that's what it's called. Morty of the Frost. And I think this was okay. One second. Morty of the Frost. 2 blue, 1 green, 2 of any color for a 0/0. Legendary snow creature, shapeshifter, changeling. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of permanent you control, except it's legendary and snow in addition to its other types. And if it's a creature, it enters the battlefield with 2 additional +1 counters on it and is still changeling. The only catch is it has to be a it has to be a permanent you control. And there's about here's an interesting thing too. It's copy permanent. It's not copy creature, except it's legendary and snow in addition to another type. And if it's a creature. So that's actually, I think, really interesting. You can get multiple copies of a Planeswalker. If you're like Planeswalker's down to its like his last loyalty, and you know it's going to die. Play this, turn it into said Planeswalker, and then though I don't know if that would actually work, because it technically enters the battlefield as a creature and then turns into it. But yeah, you can copy artifacts, you can copy enchantments, you can just copy permanents. It's great. But what I really wanted why I chose this one to just look at the actual art for the World Summit. That is some fan-freaking-tastic art. I don't know who that is who's dumb enough to be taking that thing on. They got some cojones. They got some balls, man. Because I love that alternate art, if I'm going to be honest. That is some awesome alternate art for the World Servant. Let's see. Run Ashore is 2 blue, 4 of any color. Choose 1 or both. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on top or bottom of their library. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. 1 or 2. Oh, actually, you can do both. Even at both, there's a reason this is common. It's a pretty big spell. And they're just better spells. Don't get me wrong. There are scenarios where I'd use this, but not many. Tergrid's Shadow. 2 black, 3 of any color for an instant common. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures, or you can foretell it. Basically, it's barter in blood. That's what it is, barter in blood. And that's perfectly usable, except it's that instance. There's that. We finally get our first ruin. It's just the blue ruin. We don't know his actual name. But enchant permanent. When this card enters the battlefield, draw a card. As long as the enchanted permanent is a creature, it has flying. As long as the enchanted permanent is an equipment, it is equipped. It has equipped creature has flying. So, honestly, I guess the question is why. Then again, I can see why you'd go that route. I was about to say, why wouldn't you just put it on the creature? But creatures can be targeted by creature destruction. Artifacts can be targeted by artifact destruction. So it all depends on what type of destruction they have. They don't have creature destruction, they go for the artifact. Well, there you go. You should have gone with the creature. But more likely than not, you're going to be looking at creature destruction more often. So it actually behooves you to put it on an equipment. So that apparently is how ruins are going to be working. You can equip just a permanent creature or artifact, basically. As it stands, it's flying, so it's evasion. So blue one's on the better side. Dogged Pursuit. 1 black, 3 of any color. Enchantment, common. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Kaia hunting Voselix, or whatever, however, I can't pronounce that thing's name. Open the Omnipass is 1 red, 2 of any color. For an instant, choose 1. Add 2 mana of any 1 color and 2 mana of any other color. Spend this mana only to cast creature or enchantment spells. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until the end of turn. That one is actually, I think, really interesting and really usable because of how much like double mana or just large mana things we have. The World Servant's double mana. I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting. But so, yeah, I actually like this one, particularly for the mana casting ability of it. We're up there getting close to 30 minutes. We're getting near the end, but should speed it up a little bit. I believe this is Fall of the Imposter, which is basically telling us that, yeah, obviously Tibolt's going to fail. The first 2 is put a +1 counter on 1 target creature, and the final is exile a creature with greatest power among creatures target opponent controls. So in essence, it looks like what's going on. I believe this is Kaia and Kel basically kicking Tibolt off the tree. Now, we don't know if Tibolt dies. Probably not. And it's designed that he got too much power, and therefore he was exiled in some way, shape, or form. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a very unique card for green-white. Cardu Doomscar Krieger. Oh crap, this is in I think German or Spanish. I can't recall. When this card enters the battlefield, until your next turn, creatures your opponent control attack each combat available and players, and attack a player other than you available. When an attack creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I mean, if they got small creatures, that's great. If they got big creatures, you don't want to play this. Boreal Outrider is 1 green, 2 of any color for a 3/2 elf warrior, uncommon snow creature. Whenever you cast a spell card, creature spell, if snow of any of that spell's color was spent to cast it, that creature's enters the battlefield with an additional +1 counter on it. Which, yeah, that's not hard to do. In a snow deck, that's pretty easy to do. So yeah, that's definitely usable. I'll find a home for that in my snow deck. Again, there's Tyvar's full art new card. Warstorm Surge got a reprint. That's cool. We knew he was from this plane anyway. Tolfar, God of Fury, which is our Thor of this set. 2 red, 2 of any color for 5/4 trample. God. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent control is dealt in excess of non-combat damage, this card deals damage equal to the excess to any target permanent. Okay. Toroff's Hammer. 1 red, 1 of any color for a legendary artifact mythic rare. Equipped creature has pay 2 and 1 of any color. 1 of any color to tap the creature. Unattached this card, deals 3 damage to any target. Return its hammer to its owner's hand. Equip creature has +3/+0 as long as it's legendary. So this is interesting. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage. If it were just damage, then I could really see this thing being just broken. But because it's excess non-combat damage, unless you're using, say, burn spells to destroy a creature to get it out of the way, I'm gonna be honest, this one's probably just better off using, say, like, just being used for the trample and its hammer, quite frankly. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, I like it, but it's not as good as I think it makes itself out to be. Divine Gambit is 2 white, sorcery, uncommon, exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment an opponent controls. That player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. It's kind of like a Path to Exile, except worse, because that one just got them a plains. This one you actually give them any permanent they want. So new. Tibolt's Trickery is 1 red, 1 of any color for an instant rare. I'm surprised this isn't a story card. Counter target spell, which is rare in the red color. Choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. Its controller mills that many cards, and it exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card with a different name than that spell. They may cast that card without paying its mana cost, and then they put the cards exiled on the bottom of the library in any order. This is a very weird card. But it's a card I think red players could probably get behind, because who knows what that one card would be. It could literally be anything. I would probably play this just to see what happens with it, quite frankly, because it is very interesting. Revive the Draugr is a 1 black, 1 of any color. I believe that's instant. Choose 1. Return target creature from your hand to your graveyard to your hand, or return 2 target creature cards that share creature type from your graveyard to your hand. So, I mean, if you're in a creature type heavy deck, then there you go. Pardew's Vicious Return. 1 black, 1 red, 2 of any color. You may sacrifice a creature. When you do, this card deals 3 damage to any target. If you got creatures to sacrifice, great. Then each player discards a card, okay? And then return turn creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a +1 counter on it and gains haste until your end turn. If you have a card you discard in your hand as a giant creature that would be beneficial with this, great. Otherwise, you may be playing catch up with this card. Yeah, I don't. It's not bad, but not my taste. Roots of Wisdom, 1 green, 1 of any color for a sorcery, common. When this card, mill 3 cards and return a land card or elf card from your grave to your hand, and if you can't, draw a card. A lot of people like self-mill. I've never been a fan of it, but I can see the benefit with that. Jorn, God of Winter. He's a snow creature god. Ooh. 3/3 for 3. That's usable. Whenever this card attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. All right. And then its other half is Kaldheim the Rhyme Staff. 1 black, 1 blue, 1 of any color. You may tap this card. You may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped. I mean, if you're in a snow deck, there you go. It's resurrecting your snow. So yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Guard Cavalry is 2 for a 2/2 Dwarf Berserker. Target creature gains haste until the end of turn. It's a bear with an upside. It's fine. Herald King of Skimfar. 1 black, 1 green, and 1 of any color for a 3/2 legendary creature, elf warrior, uncommon. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an elf card, warrior, or Tibolt or Tyvar card from among them and put them in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. Great if you're searching out elves, or your elf planeswalker Tybolt. Wither Crown, last one for the day, unless something else gets spoiled, but I'll save it for tomorrow. Wither Crown is 1 black, 1 of any color. Enchant creature gets base power of 0, and has the beginning of your upkeep. You lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. Let's see. I just want to be sure I'm getting that right, because if you can equip it to an opponent, then yeah. Enchant creature has base power and has at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. So I'm guessing, yeah, if you equip it to an opponent's creature, that's the case. At the same time, though, yeah, you're just going to sacrifice the creature. But at that point, then it's a removal spell. So it's good. It's usable. I can't argue with it. Yeah, that's pretty much the last of the cards here. We went nearly 40 minutes. My God. But that's my thoughts on the cards today. A lot of them are good. Again, like I said previously, this is another one where I'm like, oh, I want a box of this. Looked at a Corey, I'm like, I want a box of this. I looked at War of the Spark, I'm like, I need a box of this if I want to make a Planeswalker deck. I looked at Commander Legend, I'm like, I need a box of this. I looked at Battle for Zendikar, I'm like, or Zendikar Rising, I'm like, don't need a box of this. And so I looked at Eldraine, I'm like, I don't need a box of Eldraine here. I like those sets. I like Eldraine more than I like Zendikar, quite frankly. But yeah, not. Where was I going with that? Yeah, not some of them my cup of tea, some of them not. This, my cup of tea. Until then, though, that is my thoughts on the cards today. What did you think of the cards? Put in the comments below, let me know. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. We're going ASMR on this, so we'll catch you cats on the flip side. I've still got a who and to do for the day. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.